Welcome to the Chuck Clark Coaches Show here on BCHS.TV. I'm your host, Gary Ownbey. We're going to talk about the ending of the season. We're also going to talk about the look at the postseason, and being joined today by head coach Chuck Clark, as well as assistant coach Drew German. Guys, welcome to the show. And Coach, we know you're a little bit under the weather today, so we'll try to keep it easy for you.
Well, I need that today. We're going to have a little sit down with the players and make sure that it's going to be short, sweet, and I want to make sure that we get something out of practice today. So I'm sure they'll help me out a little bit with that.
Well, Coach German, that's why you have assistant coaches that help you take care of the program while you have to be away for whatever reason.
Well, that's true. I turned it over to him yesterday, and I know that the kids, they had to work pretty hard for them. So got total confidence in he and Kobe. And a few years ago, same way with Patrick and Drew. There was a time that I had to be out and was sick, and so you surround yourself with good people.
Yeah.
And so I've known Drew since he was a little sixth grader, running up at Truett, and he was one of my starting guards way back then. So
a couple weeks ago or so.
Yes, a few days ago anyway. So, but yeah. You get people around that you trust and love and care on, and I know that he's going to do what's right for not only for me but for the program.
Without a doubt. Well, yesterday we had Kobe on with the freshman team talking about the fantastic season they have. I think they lost one game, and Drew, now his guys as freshmen, some of those are on the JV team, but the big majority of them now will move up and become active members of the JV, and some will actually get to the point where they'll be with the varsity before too long, won't they?
Right. We'll have, we look forward to as many of them coming up as can come up. We had 4 that dressed this year because we had a large sophomore class, so we only had 4 JV jerseys left. Mm-hmm. And so we pulled up who we could pull up and who could help us and get as many minutes as possible in JV. And then with this sophomore class kind of rolling over, typically most of the time juniors and seniors kind of stay on varsity. And so we typically have freshmen, sophomores that make up the JV.
Okay. Well, Coach, I know you'd been out with some illness, and Drew takes over. Drew, do you run practice the same way the coach does, or you say, hey, the old man don't know what he's doing, we're going to do things my way?
We run practices a lot of the same way. We've kind of got, the kids kind of know the routine, stretching, and then we're going to do some shooting stuff, and then we're going to go into kind of a get loose drill, some more shooting stuff, then work on defensive things, and then from there, you have about 50 minutes or so. Yesterday, what we decided to do was me and Coach Dills basically drafted up the guys, kind of like an all-star team, and we played a game. 2 20-minute halves, running clock, stop it inside 1 minute. The last 5 minutes, every foul's a 1-on-1 situation.
Okay.
And so we would call fouls. We would tell them kind of what to get in, but a lot of times we're letting them get into what they feel like they want to get in and work on. And so yesterday we saw zones. We saw 1-3-1, a full court press and man, a 2-2-1 press, a 2-3 zone, a lot of man stuff, some trapping off of inbounds plays. They were kind of switching things up because they really didn't want to lose to each other.
Oh, yeah, I guess. So you got into as close of a game type situation as you could,
right,
among your own players there.
Yeah, and it ended up down to the last possession where it was, I think it was 59-60, and then can't remember who was on the free throw line, but Saylor got an offensive board off that to let them get back to the free throw line. They ended up winning by 2, and so that was kind of how it finished up.
Wow, sounds like a really highly competitive and intense and emotional, I guess, for those guys. Nobody wants to lose to the other guys on your team, so I guess that works out well. Well, Coach, 11-day layoff between the last time you played and the first time you're going to play in the postseason. That's got to have some bearing or effect on how you prepare, maybe, or how it affects the players, I guess.
Well, we took a couple of days off, and we did a lot of shooting on last week, Wednesday and Thursday. I guess that's right, Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. Well, we practiced on Thursday, but a lot of shooting, and then gave them off Saturday and Sunday, and then came back Monday and practiced. And then that's a great thing what Drew did with them yesterday. Because they need to run up and down the court. They need to, because I don't call an offense every time down. Quante reads a little bit what they can get into a little bit. He's starting to understand and be the coach on the court. Tucker's is getting that same way. Isaac's already, doing those things, and so they're young, but they have a lot of experience, and so you know what? I let them play a little bit.
Well, that's what they need to play. And
they've got to learn that.
Yep, it's supposed to be a fun game for everybody involved there. Well, right now, you've won the last 5 games in a row. You've won 12 out of 13. You haven't lost but 1 game since the Christmas break. So do you feel like the team is getting to the point where you want to be? I won't say peaking exactly yet, but are they there at the point where you feel like we're playing some of our best basketball of the season?
We're playing some pretty good basketball. Now, is it as good as what we have had earlier, right after Christmas and all? Probably not. Sometimes that we don't play, we play to the level of competition sometimes, and that's not good. But
It's sort of human nature that'll do that a lot of times, I think.
it is at times.
It's hard not to do it, I guess.
But still, you want to go ahead, and they need to learn when to put the pedal down to the metal, and that's when they go on the court. So whenever they go on the court, that's when the pedal's supposed to be down and going.
Well, go ahead.
But we're learning still, even today. So.
Well, like you say, you're a young team, and you hope that at every practice you learn something. Let me ask Drew something here now. Your part in preparing the team to play the next fall, I know you look at film. Do you break the film down, or do you look at it together, or how do you set that up? For a scouting report, I guess.
We both watch film. That's Coach Deals. We'll put a Google Doc together, share it with everybody, and then
That includes the players or with the coaches?
just with the coaches, so that we can kind of type on it, change stuff. We have a template that we've pretty much had the whole season.
Okay.
That'll do. We'll try to do player breakdowns on one side, then opposing team's offense, opposing team's defense, and then what we need to do to make sure that we're successful. And so we typically type all that stuff up. They can edit it at any point and change stuff, shift stuff, move stuff. Then once it's good to go, we'll post it on our Google Classroom for the kids to see, or we'll just print it out, put one in the locker room, and we'll carry one with us to the sidelines. It helps us a whole lot with, especially at the beginning of the game, matchups. Whenever you get the starters, kind of match stuff up. Also, it helps with different situations and kind of knowing what other people have done in the past and like how we can be successful.
Okay. Well, Coach, I know as you go in tournament time, we're not going to play till Saturday. We've got the late Saturday night at 7:30. We don't know who our opponent will be. We know it's going to be one of 3 folks. Do you assume it's going to be someone in particular and try to pick them out and concentrate on that team you're going to be playing, or do you try to look at all 3 because during tournaments it could be upsets, or how do you typically handle that?
Well, on Monday we turned around and had 2 different breakdowns. On one team wants to play more zone, and or 2 of the 3 want to play more zone, and the other team wants to play man.
Oh, okay.
So we turned around and worked on both of that phases of the game, and so I mean today we'll do something similar.
You'll narrow it down. Tonight there's a couple of games being played, so you'll narrow it down. About one of those teams will be gone, so you're down to 2 teams. So
right, and so we'll turn around and break them down a little bit more. I let them do all the breakdowns, really. I look at the tendencies more as for the games, because I'm standing up there, and I've got Coach German in my ear, and talking about inbounds plays, what's getting ready to take place, and he's telling the guys that, or else he sees what kind of defense they're in. He'll start telling me what to call. We'll have those things are already set up basically for us, and sometimes I go ahead and go with what he says, and sometimes I've been known not to. I go on gut sometimes, but 9 times out of 10 I listen to him, because he's done a great job breaking down the teams that we do play.
And he's not exactly a rookie either when it comes to that.
No, I mean he's sowed his oats a little bit, and so he's learned, and Coach Spangler got him in on that. And then, well, even in, we were talking about the White County game when a few years ago when one of their players goes off the court and he said, told the coach, Coach Mitchell there, that they know all of our plays. And
That's a bad thing for them, but a good thing for the Bears.
well, it is. And so, but it was a bad thing for us because then they just went freelance and hit the big 6'7" guy down low on the block, and he was good, really good down there. And so it cost us to have to travel for that sub-state game.
Oh, man. You mentioned someone we haven't touched on, Andrew Nipper. What part does he play the Bears? I know he's a former Bear, a big guy, one of the tallest players we've had, in the post position. And I see him on the bench with you in a lot of the games. How does he help? What's his role with the Bears?
Anytime that he can get to practice, he comes up for practice, and for the games. Andrew had a nice career at North Greenville University,
Yeah.
and then he coaches Lake Forest, and so he's sitting in on a lot of basketball games, and so he made a couple of calls a few years ago when we were playing White County up at Cookeville on something that we should do that he recognized from his time at North Greenville. And during the timeout, I said, you show them what you're wanting to do. And those guys followed through. And so, it's developing a confidence in the guys that you have around you, and one of the first games of the year, or not first game, Christmas tournament, Coach German says, we get timeout right here and we'll run this play. We get the timeout right there. I let him go to the board and show him the play, draws it up, and we score and we win. But not only does that show confidence that I have in him, but it shows the players.
Right.
And so they have confidence in him also, and that I have confidence in him, what he's doing. So it's good. It's a teamwork all the way around between Andrew, Kobe, and Drew, and myself, and along with the guys. So we try to show that in what we do and every day.
Well, it's working out pretty good. 19-5 on the season so far. We got a lot of basketball still to be played. We know we're going to be playing in the district starting Saturday night at 7:30 in the semifinals, which means we're playing again on Tuesday in either consolation or championship finals. But being second in the district guarantees you a spot in the region, which will start, after the district's over with, and hopefully you come in first or second in the district, and you'll be able to host another game, a home game for the Bears here.
Yeah, I like us hosting at Jim Smitty. It's nice, and so we've had a pretty good record since I guess Cleveland when we played them here. So anytime we can host here, it's a positive.
Well, Coach, we want to wish you the best of luck throughout the rest of the postseason. We hope it's an extended postseason, and with Drew here helping, and Colby and Andrew and the kids, if they buy in, because we're playing good ball right now. There's no doubt about it. We're playing some of the best ball we've played, and can always be better. We could shoot a little better, we rebound a little better, play better defense. You're never going to have a 100 perfect game, as the old saying goes. But you got to come when you got to, and you've always said if you don't bring your A game, the other team does, and your season's probably going to end.
Yeah, and it'll end quickly for them too. And that's one of those things that you hate. I don't even like thinking about it right now. So we're going to bring our A game.
Well, Drew, thank you for being here again today, as always.
Thank you.
Appreciate your input and what you're doing for the program. And Coach Clark, you get over your illness there and shake it off and be ready to go come Saturday night. And you got a couple more days to get feeling better and work in some good practices.
Yeah, I'm going to, we're going to go hard for about an hour and a half, and then I'm going to let them lock it up, and I'm going to head back to the house and get to bed.
You go home and rest. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, I'll take my medicine. So
we're going to wrap up this week's show. Join us again next week on BCHS.TV for the Chuck Clark Show. I'm your host, Gary Ownbey, saying so long for now. God bless and go Bears.